All right. So don't forget to go there and comment and say hi and all of that. That'd be awesome. In case you missed it, here we go. I already have 7 likes. That's awesome. Yeah. Comments and likes, that'll be great. So, welcome, YouTube. This is what we do all day, every day. In case you're not a member and you're watching this later, I think it records. Yes, I did set it to record. Today is the 13th, and the market is made highs yesterday on top of super duper, being sarcastic here, information from Powell and such. And right now we played a put. That was the green circle. That was the target. And the red path is possible. And you guys rock, by the way. Hey, Dave. Hey, Eddie. Hi, Prince. Joyful. I see you. I'm the best? No. I do try hard, though. We crush it. If you're not a member, this is what we do all day. All day. Screens shared, lines are drawn. Hi, Dave. Lovely people. But we don't do this fast trading only. The point is to answer every question there is. We have 254, actually this undercounts, so 260 people today. That's on the low side. Let's see here. The question is Jumia on the $40 from Jumia. How about that's looking way far out. I want to know what your thesis is for $40. Got it. So let's see here. The question is Jumia. Somebody stuck long in Jumia, upper right-hand corner of my screen while we watch the S&P. The question is, they see something going up to 40. So to be honest, it is possible, but you need the two things that stand in the way in my mind. By the way, that alert I just set. So in my mind, the thing is, one, you need to prove that you're worthy of it. Like, what do you bring to the table fundamentally? And the problem is the market hasn't been this high ever again before. So you haven't done what you can do when the market is rallying to high heaven. What if we have a correction in the market? How likely is 40? Can it go to 40? I've seen worse go to 40. I mean, GME, AMC, they spike. If you're stuck in the stock, you're stuck in the stock. So determine what price would get you out. If I'm profitable and I just got profitable because the stock just rallied a zillion %, guess what I'd be doing? I'll be out. So it depends on where you're at. You didn't tell me your entry price. Okay, you don't need to tell me. But I wouldn't be surprised to see it at 7.5 again. This is what was touted as the Amazon of Africa, I believe. I believe it's a German company. So look into its prospects, check out the fundamentals. Not great improvement. There's no growth. At least they are losing less. Look at their cash flow. That's pretty important. Like, okay, a company can report such a P&L, but is it burning cash to get there? 40 million, I mean, that's not a chump change, but it's not like billions. Let's look at their margins. Cost of goods sold is okay. Operating margins are not so good. What do? First party sales, commissions. They don't have a lot of debt. Statistically speaking, they are pretty expensive. 4.5 times sales. So the stock price, that price to sales is 4.5. The stock price is growing at a faster rate than their sales are. We discussed that concept yesterday. I don't know if you were here. So it's okay. It's not for me, but it's okay. If I hold it because if I buy it because it's going to 40, that's a lot of hope. All right, let's put the IWM up there. Actually, we were following NVIDIA up there, and we'll go to 5 minutes. We saw some levels that it needs to hold. So NVIDIA's default move is up. Let's see if it can get to 130 before it gets to 126. And whatever happens in NVIDIA will happen to the market. I said those words today. I got some pushbacks, valid pushback, but I'm very confident to say that if NVIDIA is falling and correcting, the stock market is correcting too. Because mathematically, it's 6.5 of the market. And theoretically, and not theoretically, effectively, it did bring the market since last May, when it reported earnings and then it announced it was going to double in sales. Boom, explosion. Okay, so today's trades are working. Today's Iron Condor, not so much. It's not losing a lot, but the delta on the put sold is under fire. The Iron Butterfly from last night is a big win because I set it at a place in the SPX that makes sense, and we're now it's diminishing returns. I would not be in it. Okay. We even discussed about shorting NVIDIA via put. Somebody wants to see if they can buy a put to profit from this circle. To me, I find it easier to short the SPY versus the NVIDIA stock. It's on crack. So here is a basket of hundreds of tickers. That's all these ETFs in one ticker, and they lost support. They're back to the lows of 2 days ago. So here, let's recap. Bottom right-hand corner of my screen. Let me see if I can mark it up. Okay. Yesterday, we had CPI, whatever, pre-open, pop. And then Powell, beep, 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 mess. And we lost it. So that was the mess from yesterday. We're back to the day before holding support. Well, if we lose that support, we're going to drop as much as whatever this head is. Let's zoom out. Okay, so let's say that's pretty big. I don't think it should be that big. Let's just give it half. There is support. We're not denying that. But if the worst happens, there's about this much worth of downside potential. Now, every time of late, the market has needed a bounce. Magic hands show up and the bounce happens. So how would I deal with this? If we rally in the S&P, in the IWM, in the basket of these stocks, if the XLF rallies, I'd be looking to fade it. So if we do rally with this bunch, this is the XLF, XLV, XLP, XLY. If they rally, I expect this. This is not a fast-moving comment. Like this can be over the next few hours as opposed to few minutes. If you want to get to the minute details, you got to go to the, this is the XLF that kind of represents these XL things down here. So this, to me, is the leader of this. This one and the XLV are heavyweights, and they're influentials. This one is more influential. That's my opinion. Other people have had issues with that, and they present their own points. What else? Give me tickers while we wait for this show to end. Bookmap doesn't show any advantage to buyers or sellers. The Tesla trade is very interesting today. If you're trading that, let me know. Tesla today has like orders ready to transact, but as soon as price approaches it, they just completely disappear. Very bizarre. All right, so yesterday we shorted the RUT. We're making money. If you took it as a trade, you can scalp it. How much? 50%. I'm looking at $35. I got 65, so 40 to 50%. Depends on what you got. After I took my trade, the market went higher, so you could have gotten more than me in credits. Some people were trying to take it today. It's suboptimal to take it on a red day, but it's a slow trade for August, so it still works. Most sectors deep red, information and real estate. Okay, so Climber is making a point in the live room chat. So he's making the point that broad pieces of the market are not as happy as the scoreboard. 2 days ago, we had a green day and only 2 green sectors out of whatever, 11 or 12. That is not a healthy market. Yesterday, we did the math. 0.6% of the plus 0.8% on the SPY were 3 stocks. So if you flattened those 3 stocks, the market would have been flattish. This morning, the RSP, which is the S&P flat, like if you make every company count the same, was down 0.6% when the SPY was green. And the QQQ equal weight would have been flat if you take out, actually check that, the QQQ would have been flat if you take out one company, AVGO. The move in AVGO is massive, 14%, and it's 4.5% of the QQQ. The company reported phenomenal numbers, so I'm not taking away from it. I'm just saying mathematically, it doesn't say the NASDAQ was up. The scoreboard says it, but the NASDAQ wasn't up. One giant company was up a lot, giving us the impression that, quote, the market is super green and the market is struggling, other than a few selected ones. All right. Give me questions. I still expect them to fill this yellow box down here. Things we discussed, the XLI short is working. I did not add to it. The GE, I missed buying puts. I'm short already by selling calls. I meant to buy puts. I didn't. That would have probably ruined the trade. All right, there's a question. I'm still holding on to Palantir put spread. Credit put spread, I assume. Wasn't able to sell the short at 3. Should I continue to wait? I don't know what you mean. Can you explain? My trade? Is it my trade? The one okay. So what's your question? I bought mine back. I don't know what you mean. Last week you said to set a limit order to buy it at 3. I don't remember those words. I remember talking about it, but I don't say. Okay, so your trade is open. Is that what you're telling me? Okay, you're still winning, right? It's at 21. Where was the trade? I can't remember. It's off my book, so I don't have it in front of me. Wasn't it 20? What line was it? Remind me. What are the numbers you have? I closed mine yesterday and I mentioned it. So tell me and I'll go price it for you and see what we can do. 1816, yeah. So let's go check that. July 18, yeah. So why not buy it today? It's 4 cents. Or you can try to close the whole spread for 2 cents. It's up to you. There's no panic. I mean, it's way down there. Unless the market crashes, your quote, as they say, safe. Nothing is ever safe. So if it's cheap risk, don't leave the risk open for pennies. Yeah. A lot of people will be tempted to do nothing with it. So the trade is winning. One, actually. We went long on a dip wherever. and the stock rallied. But this is Palantir up here. It's going into a massive failing whatever the heck that is. This like an island candle up there. So I would imagine there's going to be a hell of a lot of sellers at 25. Now, yesterday somebody here said something good about Palantir. So the only thing good for the price from here, in my opinion, that's going to be great if somebody does it. It's a buyout. So I doubt it. I think the leadership is so old and big egos, I don't think they're going to sell out. So this is the original AI company, but not in the sense where this kind of AI. I think this is a different level of AI. Again, I'm judging it from a very far distance. Somebody said, I think AI is going to be good for Palantir. I was like, what do you mean? It is AI. The whole business is set from the start at being artificial intelligence for the companies in order to streamline their businesses. But from the core, like from basically give anybody in the company push button decision making capabilities. That's the concept, the way I understand it. So the whole company was founded more than a decade ago with that idea. And then they said, oh, they got a government contract. Well, that also how they started, a government contract company. And in fact, some of the reasons they sell it on is when it loses a government contract. But the sales are growing, so they are growing the private sector. Good company, buy dips. Up here, I'm not broken up about missing out on some upside. If I own shares, I can hold them with confidence. I wouldn't load up. I wouldn't add. I would sell covered calls to a degree. And maybe it gets a buyout. I'm not sure. I don't honestly think they can do it, but you know, we've seen some pretty crazy stuff. So the bulls are fighting for this super hard, super hard. If you lose, that's a big if. If you lose the floor from today, I think they not only finished the arrow from yesterday that they failed to finish, they will probably fill 3/4 of this yellow box. This yellow box is an area of interest, but it's a couple of different ones. So somewhere in the middle, there's a break in it. So if they come halfway and they come back out, I will adjust the edges. These are unsettled candles on the way up. All right, we've got a question from the YouTube, Billy. Oxy, support near term 59. If you've been with me for a while, you know the story of Oxy. Me and Oxy. You're asking if there is support at 59? There is a support zone, 59 through 56. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Just as there is a lot of resistance above 62. So you're kind of stuck. I wouldn't buy calls. Unless you know something about the company, I wouldn't buy calls. Thank you, Andrew. Andrew is pointing out that there's a lot of Apple sellers at 220. Oh, I need to zoom out. Thanks. I wish book. Oh, yes. 215 too. 215 and a half. They're scattered everywhere, Andrew. You're right. 220, the highest. So we see orders sitting there. If the price is rallying into that level, there's going to be sellers. The transactions that kind of put the brakes on. Mark J, thanks for the kudos. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Thanks for the IWM trade. Ka-ching. Climber chiming in with 53.94. SE. Ooh-wee. Okay, we have history with SE. This is like 3 companies in one, at least it was. I wouldn't short it. Man, do you remember when we were long and we were struggling down here? We bought a dip one time and it wouldn't stop falling during the 2022 correction. All right, so this is an excellent company fundamentally on paper. I don't know if I would I don't know if I would go long up here though. I mean, I wouldn't short it. The technical target could be much higher. I don't know which target they're chasing. Let's say there is $18, $19 of upside. So it could easily get to 85. You've been selling calls. Yeah, that's great. That's what I would do. Can you help me understand this? Where there are sellers? Why there are? Well, there are transactions. Okay, so they're pushback on my statement. I look at the middle of my screen. Let's say we're looking at the stock, and let's say I look at Bookmap and I see a huge volume zone here, and stock goes here. Well, if the stock is going up into a huge volume zone, once you hit that volume zone, they're going to be transacting. That's a traffic jam. So it's resistance. For every buy, there is a sell. But it's a lot of transactions. So they will stick fighting for it. That's how it works in my mind. And effectively, you see it working every day in the charts. So let's not overthink it. That's how it works. It's pretty consistent concept across multiple things. Volume, orders, levels. Yeah, just like here on my screen, if you look left, middle left, you see that yellow line? That's a high point of volume. Rallies into that line should bring out resistance. So it's going to be hard. It might be easy to get there, but it should not be easy to get through there. All right. I'm getting a lot of messages about discussions, actually, not messages. Today we discussed a lot the concept of buying calls in the VIX and protection. And just like that, the VIX is at 1240. And the SPY is red in spite of a few boxes being super green. So I'm going to go back to watching NVIDIA here because I promised you that. Nothing to see in my opinion, but let's put it on here. So this is a tough... by the way, the discussion here, I know I put a circle here if you joined us late or if you're on YouTube and you don't know what this is all about. We discussed it for about 20 minutes. That it's, for me, if I wanted to short this guy, I think it's easier to short this guy. So NVIDIA is a hard short. But if it's falling, my guess is that the S&P would be falling as well. So it's easier to short the S&P versus the NVIDIA. Yes, E squared. Right there. Link provided right there. Click on it right there. No, you want to see my face? I don't even know what I look like right now. I doubt you want to see my face. It's early, man. Let's check. Where's my camera? Oh, we'll check real quick. Where is my camera? Oh, there's no feed on the camera. Thank God. I don't know why it's not working. I'll give it a NVIDIA broadcast. Yeah, the NVIDIA broadcast thing is broken. That thing breaks all the time. For such a good company, I don't know how they can put out a product that's this inconsistent. If you've used it before, you know what I'm talking about. I'll try to fix it for you. The people want to see the face. We'll try to bring the face. Camera is busy. Yeah, I'm using it. Nobody else is. Anyway, it's not letting me. Uh, oh, a headband. Wait, I know that guy. I know that guy. That's Hello Kitty guy, right? The headband guy. I don't know why it says the camera is busy. I'm using it for the. I'm trying to get it for that purpose. It's not working. I tried, folks. The camera is not cooperating, so we will just stick around to audio and screen share. Roaring Kitty. Hello Kitty. Yeah, that works. I'm not competing with him. He's definitely ahead of the game there. But in the long run, what's going on there is marginally illegal. I don't know. Call me old school, but in the past, when you did a boiler room type of a deal where you collude in order to drive up a stock up or down, that was an illegal thing. So now they don't call it boiler room because it's across fiber optics. But the concept is the same. Eventually, they're going to have to deal with this because it gets to the ridiculous point. Imagine if he's doing this with Apple stock. Just imagine the impact on the whole market. I'm just throwing it out there. If he's able to manipulate Apple stock with words, no, not prison, but they will have to put limits on him, right? Just like they do on Jim Cramer. He's not allowed to talk about stocks. Actually, he's not allowed to trade at all as a person. He can trade for his charitable trust or whatever he calls it. And even then, if he mentions the stock, I think there's a holding period plus or minus 2 weeks where he can't do anything with that stock for the charitable trust. They have rules, and I don't think they have applied them to the new world. It's been a while. I mean, it's not like they haven't had a decade to fix it, but now it's more prevalent. The influence, this is the world of influencers, right? That's the new world. You don't have to be like the MBAs are gone now. It's is there a degree for online for online influence degree? OIDs, that's what it is. It's OIDs now. I've got a master's in OID. Hey, do you have a MOID? There we go. We just made up a word. Are you a MOID? Yes, I'm a master's in OID. I'm not. He is. So imagine if he's actually able to manipulate a PHOID. Good one. A PHOID. A FOID. And that's funny. That's hilarious. And I can create an AI, Nick. Yeah, sure, we can. So could you. We have copycats, I'm told. That's like the third copycat. I guess we're doing something right when you have copycats out there in social media. Not enough of it, but we definitely are trying. So back to stocks. We have a consolidation zone after a drop. Every consolidation zone of late goes by the way of the bulls. Let's see if that is not the case. Mind you, we're talking 540 SPY. That is astonishing. Microsoft, what time frame? Well, I don't need to hunt point D. I do have a couple of harmonics that could be. Yeah, I see what you mean. So the comment is, I don't know if this is a point D hunt because point C is higher than A. So what he's saying is Microsoft is toying with a breakout, and if it doesn't, it drifts back lower. Yeah, I can't trade this. It's just too cute. How about buy the dip in Microsoft down to 441? That would be the concept. And therein lies big fall. I just said 541-ish, 542. Again, these are the strongest stocks. Why are you guys picking on the strongest stocks? There are limping gazelles out there. Limping gazelles. Folks, the comment section is open on YouTube. Non-members, you can express your, you can submit questions, and we can debate in the comment section. We're not restricted. We're open. Just keep it civil, and give it a like if you like it. If not, tell us what we're missing. Say what you would like to see. All right, so now the S&P 541.40, look left. That's the yellow line. That's heavy volume for starters. That is a neckline that they physically lost. It extends 40 cents. So the zone above us should be resistance. If you're looking to short for the red tail, you got half of it. But if you want the rest of it, this is where you add a put. With caution, this is a very aggressive market. Expect a new high of day, if not a new all-time high this afternoon. If you expect it, then you are realistic with you being wrong. But this would be where I would start a put, just like we did earlier, like this arrow. This is potentially doable. I think it's funny how these arrows change shapes when you cross time. Look. I have to figure out what that was all about. Earlier, I was set in log scale for some reason. Not now. And as far as what put I would buy, I would concentrate on today because it's still early in the day. These are fast trades. If you're not a fast trader, I wouldn't go there. And if you're looking to practice, just use one contract. I would not use more than one contract. I mean, there's always a risk of losing money, but at least if you do one contract, it's $125 for the whole thing, even if you let it go to zero. Which one? Something in the money. So the 542 put would work for me. It cost $125. And this is a 1 minute chart. Let's up the ante. Go to 30-second charts. This is the same chart. I'm zooming in on it. Okay. Also a reminder, these candles are volume candles, which means the thicker the candle, the higher the volume. It's an easy check on viability. Give me a question on YouTube. Let's go. Tickers. We're doing tickers. We can do tickers. This is a few hundred tickers. What would be a fast trade to execute now? A put on the SPY, just like earlier. Rosanna, you were here this morning when I said I would buy a put. It might not be perfect entry, but this is where it works. So here are ways to trade. You take a risk, you allocate dollars. Let's say you spend $300 on buying puts. Two of them, 2.5. And then you say, okay, I won't let me lose more than assign a dollar amount, $50, $70, $20, whatever is appropriate to every person is different. And stop out if it goes wrong. And sometimes you can say, if we go above a certain level, I'm going to stop out because that means technically my thesis is broken. Up this early in the day, you can use that logic. Like I put a red box that makes for a visual stop out. Maybe a little bit higher. So I might take some pain above here. But on the way up, I might hit my dollar amount. I should respect that. You understand? Like if Nick said, okay, this looks like a good place to stop out, but my personal portfolio is down more than that $50 I said, forget Nick. I stick to my own stops. And also, if we're trading these guys, we have to look at Nvidia and company because they are controlling the market. And they're playing tag team, believe it or not. You know, one of them rests. Whoop, I just lost my window. That is weird. Okay, there it is. I got it. Don't have any panic. Nobody panic. When one stock rests, the other one picks up the slack. So I nominate Google. Let's watch it. Google fell really red today, like out of nowhere. And then now it has the opportunity to spike and provide some upside help when the market needs it. For example, if Nvidia needs to rest and Apple needs to rest, maybe Alphabet stock comes in and helps Microsoft. I'm just saying, tag teaming bulls has been a thing. So I'm well aware of that phenomenon. You guys are rock, by the way. Oh, Mark is in the puts. GE, okay. Amazon, okay. Let's do either of those two. I'll do them up here. So I'm short GE. If you've been here a while, you know my story. I tried shorting, and I think it's going to have a pretty big collapse, in my opinion, because it's been rallying on false pretense. That is my thesis. It's not fact, okay? I think the company now is streamlined, but it was rallying on yard sale headlines. It's like it's like me owning a $3 million house because I bought it for 500,000, 16,000 years ago. And I own cars from back then, and I own this, and now I haven't worked in 20 years, and now I'm selling off assets. Yeah, it looks like I'm winning because I got all this money coming in, but in reality, there's no upside to my story that is so great. Okay? So it is anyway. So I tried the puts, they worked 2 out of 4 times or 5 times. I was overall green, but it was very frustrating. So I decided, screw it, I'm just going to sell calls. And I did. I'm short calls and they're winning. I meant to add puts and I didn't. I don't think it's late enough, but GE, that's the story to tell the people that don't know me. So now I would sell rallies. I challenge them to break through 160. And if they get to 160, I think I'll buy those puts. If I miss them today, I'm not going to chase them. But if they spike up to 158, 159, 160, I would consider re-engaging with puts. So that's what it is. So if I missed them today, and I did, if they bounce, I will get engaged. Technically, they just triggered a target of $5 to $10 downside. Let's go with 6.5. 151 to 150 doable zone. Okay, that's GE. Amazon, isn't it near all-time highs? Yeah, so I'm not sure what to do there. Is your question trading or investing? Yeah, I would not hold a call in Amazon. This is an old comment of resistance, but I would leave it there. I'll own it. Maybe closer to 175 and stop out if they lose 174, because I think if they lose 174, they'll retest 165. If they lose that, 66, they're down here. Again, that doesn't happen without a market correction. If the market is still strong, Amazon will be relatively strong too. What else? Hi, Adnan. You know, I never knew your last name until now. You're welcome. Opinion on Exelon. Exelon, is that who that is? EXC. Oh. All right. It is Exelon. I don't know what they do. Okay, they lost. They needed to hold 36, and now that they lost it, that's a problem. So any rallies into 36, 35 and a half, I think will be met with a lot of sellers. They could target 260, 33.50 or lower. If they lose 33.50, I think they go to 31.50. And then zero, straight to zero. No, but this is a tag teaming bear. So losing 36 has a downside. But that also triggers losing 35.70, has a lower downside. And that lower downside could, I'm not sure until I see it, trigger a bigger downside potential if you lose 33.40. So you definitely don't want to lose 33 because that will bring you 20s, like 28, 29. Again, the market has to correct probably for that to happen. That's technical opinion, nothing about their fundamentals. Thoughts on Tesla? Whoa, now the questions are coming in. All right, I love it. Thoughts on Tesla at the money calls 6 months out? Hell no, not with my money. This stock is rallying because the CEO got a paycheck. Not for me. Buy the dip if that's what you want. I mean, I'm not here to argue with the Tesla price action, but you're not going to get my money to buy a call on the day it's up 6% because the CEO got a paycheck. Not for me. I might sell you that call actually if there's no earnings in between. I think if Tesla doesn't announce a new stream of income, I think the company has seen its best days from growth perspective. I'm not dissing the company prospects, the growth. The bloom of the EV is gone. Okay, so it's still the best EV company out there, arguably, but the EV market is not small and still growing, but it's not a slam dunk. I'll give you an example. California is panicking because they sold the idea of the EV like morons. And, oh, you got to have an EV, you got to have an EV. I don't know if you know it, but California has gas tax like no other state, or at least that I know of, major state. We pay a lot of money for gas because they have tax after tax after tax to make it's almost $5.50 or $6 a gallon. So now that a whole bunch of people are driving EVs, they're losing revenues from that. And now they're panicking. If we have 100% EV and then whatever that revenue the tax fed, there's going to be a deficit in the budget and Newsom is going to have to bring money from something else. Not to mention the grid. Couple of times last year, they asked for people not to charge their cars because the grid was stressed. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on with the EVs to say that other than the fundamentals of Tesla, it did lose extra stuff that was tailwinds. Its story didn't change. Some of the tailwinds have changed. Maybe that's the best way of saying it. That is the best way of saying it. Now I'm going to remember that. No, Raghu, you know what they're proposing. You're going to laugh. You're going to laugh. They're proposing a tax on miles driven. Ooh-wee. Try to enforce that on an old car that doesn't have any electronics. Yeah, how many miles did you drive? Well, honestly, I work from home. I drove nothing. And the EV guy that has high techs, the Tesla sends text messages to the state. Here's how much this dude drove today. Yeah, negative miles. I drove backwards. Does that count? Yeah. Clearly that wouldn't pass. That would not pass. Also, they're proposing, and I don't know if that passes, an automatic speed limiter on the cars. I would move out in a week. I told my family, with me or without me, I'm out of here. The minute they put a limit on my speedometer, I'm out. I don't think that. I think somebody mentioned it as a proposal, but I doubted they're serious about it. Again, how do you enforce such a thing on older cars? The speed limit is pretty high. That's not the point. I live in a relatively new city. Everything around me is 50 miles an hour, even streets. Like if I go to Ralph's, the store, I go from 45-mile-an-hour street to a 50-mile-an-hour street, and I make a turn into the parking lot. So speeds are pretty high. But it's the point of controlling my foot. It's just enough already. Require everyone to upgrade their cars. Oh, interesting. Yeah, how do you do that? They had cameras, they took them out. You know what's worse than California? Arizona. Hey, don't get upset. I could not live in Arizona. I would live in Florida, most definitely, and I would live in Texas. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, now we're talking politics. No, we're not. We're not. Andrew, sorry about that. Arizona, I'm sorry. You At least you ride a motorcycle. But seriously, what's with these cars? So I don't know if you know it, at least around Phoenix, they have cameras for speed. Like they'll park a truck on the side of the road and you can, if you're not from there, you can have 3 tickets by the time you get home. You don't know. A robo-taxi would be a catalyst because if they are indeed going to put taxis that are going to earn money, that's a new stream of income. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the red lights, at least you can make room for them. You know what? They put red light cameras in my area and then they took them out after 2 years. They had like a conviction rate under 40%, so they said it's not worth it. Apparently, if you throw it in the trash, double check your area, they can't prosecute you. If you don't answer, it's not an active case. Yeah, not Uber. We rode with Waymo in Arizona. Gigiman took us for a ride. Actually, Spiro did. Yeah, buddy. So I posted something on Instagram today with the silver trade. Pradek, thanks for letting me know. So SLV, I don't know if you saw my post on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. It's Simple Stocks with multiple S's. Simple Stocks is. You'll see my face. You'll know which one. Let's see here. Where did it go? Silver, SLV, had a ghost print today. Let me go to 5 minutes. You'll see it. Sometimes, there it is. Boink. Overnight. So I was like, maybe they go there today. So I'm holding my puts. And thanks for the alert. I love it. Let me double check how many millions we're up. Oh, yeah, we are green. Woo! It is losing time on my clock. So if you guys want to make a lot of money, you can bribe me into closing my put, and then it goes really green. So I will take a GoFundMe campaign if you want, and I will close my puts so that you all make money. The problem with, I think I'll decide today or this week to roll it out. It still has 36 days on the clock, but it's unfolding so slowly. The problem is the minute we took it, silver had a huge day, like one of the biggest days I've ever seen for silver. And then what did I say? I said, well, we got caught, but I think it's about gold, not silver, and that's the case so far. It was about GLD trying to hit its high, and it failed. So I think I'll stay short silver for as long as the chart in GLD is bearish. The silver trade will pay a lot if gold can just lose 211. GLD. I know it's not what everybody believes, but I told you when people are talking of like, oh man, I missed the Costco sale on gold. And like, yeah, Costco brought bullions and they sold out in minutes. That is correct. The silver trade was immediately red, like very red, and then now green. That's bizarre. You know why? Because we bought the put in the money. We bought a quality put. We didn't buy a crappy put. The crappy put would have been dead. All right. YouTube, give me a ticker. Did I miss any tickers? I think I got everybody. In Brazil, they have speed traps every few kilometers. Yeah, I grew up in a country where we had no speed limits, no one-way streets, no red lights, no stop signs, no cops. Disney. Organized chaos is what it was. What's your time frame on Disney? One month. Beep. Oh, okay. So the TLT is, it just went above. There's a delay in Thinkorswim today, by the way. The TLT just went above yesterday's high. So yesterday's high came on a spike from a headline about rate cuts. This is confirmation of rate cuts. This should be bullish markets, in theory. Okay, so Disney, this is the target we had for Disney. You see that arrow? Okay, and I don't like it because it's looking to lose support. It does have support here and lower and lower and lower, but the rally, you see how it gapped up? It makes for a wishy-washy support zone that extends like 20 bucks. So if I'm long Disney, I am not adding here. I would probably sell some covered calls. If I'm looking to get long Disney, I would not buy calls. I would sell puts to own shares or try my luck at some credit put spreads. If I buy calls, that means I'm a faster trader and I would put a stop out. So you can buy calls if you want to. You can say, it's falling into a prior bounce. I'm going to go long and I'll stop out if it doesn't work out. So that's fine with me. That's your thesis, then it's doable. You should just expect that any rally will be met with sellers. You will have resistance on top of here. Okay, so this box should not be yellow anymore because they, let me see if my automation works. Hey, it deleted the whole thing. My automation did not work. Let me do it manually. Okay, so this is Disney. Expect the rally to be met with sellers at 103. Make sure you know when the earnings are. Yeah, Tom, that's what I'm talking about. From here, without the FEG, would you be expecting to trade right along rising moving average? I know what you're asking, Tom. It's a tough question. So Tom is asking me, are we going to trend up from here? Well, that's been the habit. We closed strong. Let me look at the advanced decline line for today. That's a good question. Too early to tell, Tom. For now, I say there is a chance. There is a chance that today is different. We have support below. We have resistance above. We're stuck exactly in the middle. I think there is a chance of retesting at least 540.8. Let me look at NVIDIA, for example, for starters. Still strong. Apple, not strong. Google, I can see not strong. Microsoft, it changed the day yesterday. It's got harmonic bearish, you know what I mean? So let's look at NVIDIA 129.2 and decide. So I'll put this one up here. NVIDIA versus these candles and 129.2, which comes in 10 seconds. And let's see if they can break out of 541.7. 541.7. I don't see any open candles up here. Wait. Okay. I don't know if that qualifies. I mean, that's a stupid thing to say, but let's just focus down here. 541.7. Let's put a line on it. Versus. Okay, they left something open at 540.8. So $1. 541.7, 540.8. Ping pong between those two for now. So up here, I would be holding puts, but not really, because that is not much money I can make with, unless I'm expecting this. And I wouldn't buy calls here. Buy calls on a dip into the support. So if you have an iron butterfly, that might work. If you have an iron condor, that might work. Speaking of iron condors, the one from this morning is not losing, so that's good. It's actually flat. If you regretted doing it this morning, your time to exit. Oh my God. Look at Micron. Holy crap. Micron just exploded to 144. So Micron now does better than NVIDIA, it seems. You see my dilemma here? That people see better value in Micron, a company that's yet to prove itself that it's sustainable spike, versus the company that has proven itself spiky in sales. That's just crazy. I clearly am missing a piece of the puzzle on Micron. I'm loving. I'm gonna pay money to see how this ends. Basically, that's my fee. The puts I bought were the entry fee for that movie. Selling pressure if we break 54.10. Yep, that's what I said earlier. If we lose today's low, yesterday's low, we have a whoosh lower down to the halfway through, if not lower, of this yellow box. That was the plan from about an hour ago. All right, silver, almost at my place. Somebody go retweet my Instagram saying, "What? How did you see that coming? Get out of here." Maybe we'll go viral. Let's go.
One ticker, one trade every week.
Garmin to the downside, month or two out. Garmin. I remember something about it. Was it a meme stock for one point? At one point, I should say. Oh my God. Okay, so I expect to click on this and see their sales grow hand over fist. 3, 2, 1. Nope. Flat as a pancake. See, this is the puzzling. Okay, so then I expect them to have growing cash. Statement cash. They have a good cash situation. I don't know if it's growth or not. So this is where there's no significant huge growth that mirrors what's going on in the stock price. Good margins, I give them that. What did they make money on? Outdoor, marine, and fitness. So it's like a Fitbit. All right, so nothing wrong with it. Let's see valuations. Price to sales 5.8. That's on the high side quarterly. That's definitely on the high side. PE is definitely on the high side, so not cheap. You want to short it? You have my permission. Permission granted, son. Yes. Just put a limit to the amount of pain you're willing to take. It's probably not very liquid on options, but you might be able to make money if you buy one and not spread. Can we check crude? Yes. We checked it earlier. Hopefully you didn't miss it. 15 minutes. Crude oil, right in the middle of the range. So you have sellers above, buyers below. Open candles, none on the 15 minutes. I told you. 78.6 is a problem, to state the obvious. It's easier to get to 77.8 to my eye. And if you do, you might have some sort of a sideways head and shoulders. So how about this? If they don't get above 78.5, they're probably going to 77.4 in the next few hours on crude. I know you can make sense of that comment. If not, let me know. I'll draw it. If they don't get up to 78.5, they will drift lower to about 77.4. CL. SPY puts now up 40%. High five. You did mention, you're welcome. Mark J mentioned he's in puts earlier. Up 40%. Don't forget to scalp. All right, so we got the arrow. 1 of 2. If you got 20% out of one arrow in this environment, you'd be out. I would not hold that put any longer. But to give you an idea, it's up $50. Wasn't it 127? Now it's 185. This is a tangible number, okay? So one contract would have gotten you between $35 to $55, depends on how much you put and which one you bought. If you did 10, multiply everything by 10. So if this was your first time trading fast, this is how it happens. We talked about it, we lined it up, we drew an arrow, we set a stop, we discussed the type of stop, and you profited. Job done. Now, what do? You take notes of everything you did. Everything. You put a checkbox next to it and every other trade you take from here on out. Number 1, reason you took the trade. Number 2, your exit strategy. I would stop out if this or that. And you stick to your setup. You set a target. And you can leave runners. What does that mean? If you took 2, you can leave 1 if you want. Or if you took 5, you leave 1. If you did 10, you can leave 1 or 2. Or you can just book it and rebuy a put on a rally back towards, like if they bounce here and then you want to buy a put up in this area at 541.2, you can repeat the same trade. Sometimes they bounce inside. In fact, not sometimes. Most times we bounce inside the range that we set in the first hour and a half of the day. It's a bankable thing. What time is it? Oh my gosh, we're over. I think I set this up to be 30 minutes. We're over. YouTube, you're welcome. Next time I'll try to get the camera working. I didn't plan on putting my face on camera, but did I get every question? Sometimes I miss a few tickers. They scroll off the screen. All right, we'll cut off the stream on YouTube in the next few minutes. So you have questions. If you're not in the live room and you're a guest on YouTube and you have a questions outstanding, please post it now. Wow, there's a bit of a delay on YouTube. I'm just now seeing what I said like 5 minutes ago. Interesting. Okay, so a bounce into 541.4. I expect sellers into this cluster right there. Let's see if they show up. We will go back to watching NVIDIA, the king of stocks. 129.2 is what we're watching here. Where's the XLF? The XLF lost a step. You're welcome. I appreciate you coming in here. And hey, Andrew, I'll give you a buzz. You and I need to chat for a little bit. We haven't spoken in a while. A bounce to where? Just a small bounce to the underbelly. 541.20 right there. Maybe 541.25 tops. Yes, you're welcome. The advanced decline line has not shown an ascending channel like yesterday. Today, do we have a trigger in the middle of the day? In other words, do we have a potential catalyst? Do we have like an auction coming up? Is there any reports still coming up? Because it seems like we have one. Great. So of late, every headline, forget what it is, forget what the report says, just go long. If it dips, go long. If you're short, cover. They're just rallying on any news, good, bad, it doesn't matter. The news gets out of the way, they run. That's all they want. The auction will do well. Okay, says you. The demand is doing well already, and we're at an extreme high. So let's see if it actually goes higher than here. Okay, I'm going to leave you with the YouTube, I'm going to leave you with this note. The surprise of the day, potentially, La Pomme. Look it up. Google it. No, seriously. Apple needs to hold 212. If not, it could go under 210, even today. It needs to hold 212. Okay? Okay. I think this headline about AI in Apple is from December. Last year, I remember the company came out with a statement at some point. I read it somewhere in print. They said, our AI, expect AI in September of next year. That was last year. So I mentioned it here. I said which year they were talking about. And here we are. The headline was that in September, they will have new phones. So we're going to say goodbye to YouTube if no one objects. Thank you. I appreciate your support in here. I'll see you next time, YouTube, and I'll see you members in the live. We're ending the stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It takes a few minutes.